Okay, guys, I want you to do some in-class practice. Okay, in-class practice. I'm going to show you the question right now. So the first question you're going to try is this. Grab a piece of paper. I need your paper and pencil to be out. Okay, paper and pencil. Please write this question down and do them. Every single person do it. Okay. Um. So yeah. Please just I will let Miss Diana pause it. No, and then let you copy down and try it out. I'm gonna talk about it in a second. Okay. So I'm gonna start talking about it. All right, so for BEDMAS, we take care of the bracket first and the exponent, okay? So let's simplify it one step at a time. So this one here, you want to figure out whether it's positive or negative first. So this 0 here, hopefully you realize that it only applies to the 2 here instead of applying to the 2 over 3, because if it applies to the 2 over 3, it will look like this. Okay, and this does not look like that. So yeah, so it's let's keep it as a negative number. So the top part turns to 1. So it's that. All right, so this part here, it's a 1. Hopefully you all realize that. And times and divide. Okay, so this 0 here applies to the top only, but it's negative 12, so you don't care whether it's positive or negative because you have a bracket there. That means 0 applies to everything inside the bracket, whatever that is. So the top will be a positive 1, and then the 3 to the power of 2 will give you a 9. All right, here you basically go from left to right because it's all equivalent operation. You just go from left to right. So the first part here, you will have a minus negative 3 divided by 1 over 9. You do time, because you're dividing a fraction, times 9 over 1, which is a 9. Hopefully you realize that. Hopefully, please realize that. Okay, and you reduce, divided by 3 gives you 1, divided by 3 gives you 3. So the final answer is negative 3. Okay, hopefully everyone can get it right. Please get it right. It's not a hard question. Please, please, please. All right, so let's move to the next question. I'll let you copy the question down and then let's pause it now. All right, let's get started. All right, so a bacteria duplicate means times 2. Every half hour, half hour. What will the bacteria population be after 4 hours? Okay, chart. This is my hour. This is my bacteria population. Oh, by the way, the video is playing even though I'm not there, so please listen up, okay? Abe Hussein, please listen up. Thank you so much. All right, so hour. So the 0 hour initial population is A. Oh, I actually put 8 here to confuse you, but it's okay. Just treat it as 100,000, whatever. Okay. So, and half an hour, which means 0.5. I'll just write 0.5 because it takes less space. And then after 1 hour period, it duplicates. So 8 times 2. And after another half an hour is 8 times 2 times 2. Another half an hour is 8 times 2 times 2 times 2. Another half an hour, half an hour. Okay, is this... You rewrite it is A times 2 to the power of 0, A times 2 to the power of 1, A times 2 to the power of 2, A times 2 to the power of 3, A times 2 to the power of 4. All right, and then you can actually calculate what is n. I ask you after 4 hours, but you just plug n afterwards, okay? So after n hours, you will actually have, let's see the relationship between the hour and also the exponent here. Let's see what's not changing. What's not changing here is A times 2 to the power of what? Exponent is changing. So when we have an hour as 0.5, we have a 1, we have 1, we have 2. Time is 1.5, have 3. times 2, we have 4. Hopefully you notice the relationship is actually times 2. Whatever time that is, you double to get the exponent, okay? So it's basically n times 2, or 2n, sorry. I just want to write 2n. That's easier. If you got that, awesome. I'm proud of you. So after 4 hours, my expression would be, this is after 4 hours, okay? My 4 hours after, a times 2 to the power of 2 times 4, which is a times 2 to the power of 8. Done. That's my final answer. All right. If you didn't get it, it's fine. You didn't see the half an hour before. You haven't seen half an hour before. But yeah, the more exposure you have, the better you are at it. Okay. Next question. I want you to write this question down. And I'm going to explain later. Let's pause it now. Okay. I'm just going to talk about it now. So this part here, you can just simplify it. 2 times 0 is basically 0. Anything to the power of 0 is 1. So it's 1. And so here, inside here, you have to deal with it a little bit. So inside the bracket, you solve the bracket first. Inside the bracket, there isn't a bracket, so you solve this first, okay? So that part there, I'm just going to rewrite this. That part there is actually, I'm just copying down there. This is 1. 1 minus 2 will give you negative 1. So that's a negative 1. All right. And so here inside the bracket, you keep solving it. That's basically a giant minus. So it's 3 minus 1, which is a 2. 2 to the power of 2 will give you a 4. Okay. And I will just write down 4 here, just to save space because I'm running out of space. So that's really obvious. The one time you can actually ignore it now because one time itself is just itself equals to negative 4 over 3. That's your answer. All right. Next question here. This question I want you to simplify. Use power rules. And you can pause. No. To actually try the question. Okay, I'm going to talk about it. So, expand it, of course. The 2 exponent applies to this, applies to this. Why you can do that? Because it's multiplying here. Okay, the rules apply. So I'm going to rewrite everything. I want to expand there. So a to the power of 4 times b to the power of 2. All right. So I want to ask you a question. Can I remove this bracket or not? The answer, hopefully, you have in your mind is yes, because we have equivalent for operation here. So it's a time and a time. So you can just ignore the bracket. Please realize that. Okay. Once you actually remove the bracket, you will see that you will see more of a relationship or what other power rules you can use. So here's the base of A. You can combine them. Oh, sorry, I copied it wrong. Should be the p to the power of 4. Okay. So I can actually combine them to a to the power of 16 because they're timed together, same base power timed together. You add the exponent. Okay. Times b2, b4. Okay, now here's where it's confusing. Now I talked to Farah yesterday and Anand yesterday about these kind of questions. So what if you have a smaller exponent on top and divided by a bigger exponent? Do you actually make it a negative 2 on top or do you make it 2 at the bottom? I would say in this case, guys, just think about it. Top and bottom, which is bigger? Which has a bigger exponent? If you actually divide it by b to the power of 2, divided by b to the power of 2 here, you're taking 2 out of the 4 here, and you're erasing the 2 here. Okay? Hopefully you realize that. But in this case, just think about it. Which is bigger? And then if you take away 2, this is gone. B2, this is gone. If divided by B2, this is gone. Divided by B2 is B2 left here. Okay, so you have two B's left here. So in the end, you will just write a to the power of 16 over b to the power of 2. That's the final answer. If you can get this right, or if you can understand this, awesome job, okay? I'm proud of you. So it's just another type of little something that you haven't seen before, but it's something you do have to realize. Okay, so here's some fun stuff. Just decide whether the following is positive or negative. All right? Because this is kind of your weak spot. You can pause, copy the question down, and do them. Okay, let's talk about it. First one here, 2 applies to everything inside the bracket. So everything inside the bracket, you don't care what that is. It should be a positive, this part. And you have a negative add-on, so the final answer is negative. And here, so this is 1 here, and then this is negative 1, and you add another negative, which is a positive. All right, here everyone should know that you don't have a bracket. 0 only applies to the 2. 1 is an add-on, so it's a negative. So this part here is a negative number here, it's a negative number here, so it should be a positive at the end. So here's a negative number, so it's a positive at the end. Why is this negative? Because 2 only applies to the 3, okay? 3 only applies to the 3. So this one here, the 2 applies to everything inside, so here's a positive number. The 0 applies to everything in here, so it's a positive answer. So the answer is going to be a positive number. So the 2 applies to everything inside here, so it's positive. 0 only applies to the 2 inside, so it's negative. Final answer is negative. Okay, this one here, let's look at top and bottom, okay? Top, the 0 only applies to the 2. The 0 only applies to the 2, so the top is negative. So the 0 applies to the entire thing, so the bottom is positive. So ignore this bracket here for now. This whole thing is a negative answer. What if I expose this negative? That means negative and negative, we have a positive answer in general. Okay, hopefully you got everything right. One last question about area, and then we're done. You can pause now to copy the question down. Okay, let's start. So I want a gray area or shaded region, okay? It's basically you have a rectangle minus the triangle. This is actually way too big. I want more space for my process. I'm going to resize it. Okay. So where's my area for my rectangle? It should be base times height, which is 5 times 10. Minus the triangle, which is base times height divided by 2. The base of the triangle shares the base of the rectangle. The height of the triangle shares the height of the rectangle. Okay, so is this like that? That's the expression I want. You don't have to calculate it, but if you do want to calculate it, it's just 25. And hopefully you realize that for any triangle that shares the same base and height as the rectangle or the square is half their area. Okay, this is how actually the formula works. Is base times height divided by 2. It's half of base and height times together. Anyways, okay, so that's some practice problems. Your chapter test is on Monday, so chapter test on Monday, and then unit exam is on Wednesday. Okay, on Dropbox I uploaded some practice problem. I'm gonna upload this document too. Actually, the video are all on Dropbox now, I believe, so please review them. Okay, if you think that the video is really helpful, we can actually always do these videos. It actually saves me time to talk about multiple times. You can just revisit the video at home. Okay, but please make sure to make use of them. All right, cheers, love you guys.